Lie face down on your mat, extending your right arm out in front of you, and roll onto your right side, placing your left hand on the floor in front of your chest. Bend your elbow, resting your head on your hand, and look down the length of your body, lining yourself up as though on a fence rail, a straight line from right elbow to ankle. Once you've checked your alignment, bring your head back onto the same line as the rest of your body. Steady your breathing. Flex your toes, pressing the inner big toe joints together, and lengthen your tailbone away from your waist, curling it slightly forward toward the front hips, while at the same time drawing your uppermost inner thigh slightly back into the space behind you. These two movements basically cancel each other out, but it stabilizes your hips, and you may feel the action engaging muscles deep in your abdomen. This inner firmness stabilizes your lower back as well, allowing you to now bring your left arm alongside your body, extending your fingers toward your feet. This delicate balance, Vishnu's couch, can disturb your breathing, making it tentative, nervous. Steady yourself, with the gentle balance of the tailbone and inner thighs coming together as though pulled together by magnets, as well as a steady out-breath. Slide your right arm behind your head, turning your head to the left, gazing at your hand. Correct your position if you've rolled back onto your buttocks. The balance in this pose is on the round bone of your outer hip. Again, stabilize your pose with your exhalation. Breathe in as you release and rolling to the other side. Stretch your left arm forward. Bend the elbow, resting your head on your hand. Look down the length of your body, lining yourself up as though on a fence rail, straight line from elbow to ankle. Keep your right hand on the floor until you establish your balance, and make this as delicate a balance as possible. Again, lengthen the tailbone away from the waist, curling it gently forward. Inner thighs gently back, forming a firm base that stabilizes your hips and lower spine. Bring your right arm alongside your body, extending your fingers toward your feet. Again, notice how instability makes your breathing nervous. Find your inner calm with a steady out-breath. Slide your hand behind your head, turning your head to the right and gazing at your fingers. Don't try to make this pose easy. Learn to balance as though on a tightrope. Inhale, turn toward the floor, placing your hands palms down by your ribs, and turn your toes under. Bring your elbows in, and again, strong action, tailbone away from the waist, curling forward, inner thighs back to stabilize your core, this time flattening the back. Curl your collarbones up. Check, flat back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push strongly down with your hands and feet, pushing your elbows forward, straightening your arms, and lifting your torso straight and solid as a stick to plank pose. Steady breathing. Push to downward facing dog pose. Come back to plank pose. Turning your right leg in, press your outer right foot into the floor, and try to root the big toe joint as well. Come forward until your shoulder is almost over your wrist, so your arm is angled slightly forward. Bring your left hand to your hip, and for the moment, keep your left toes on the floor. Adjust the distance between your hand and foot so that your hips are no higher than your shoulders. In fact, as you now inhale and press down with your right hand, you'll lift your chest higher than your hips. Again, press down with your right hand and big toe, chest lifts, tailbone forward, inner thighs back, stable spine. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling, palm forward, gazing straight ahead. Steady your breathing. Feel your core support. Now bring your left leg alongside your right. Steady breathing. Turning your head slowly, gaze at your left hand. Concentrate. Come smoothly out of your pose. Inhale, release. Exhale to plank pose, turning to the left. Press the outer left foot into the floor and try to ground the big toe joint. Keeping your right foot on the floor for the moment, right hand on your hip, measure your stance. Enough distance between your hand and foot that your chest will be higher than your hips. Inhale, press strongly down with your hand, lift your chest. Exhale, tailbone forward, inner thighs back. Strongly ground your left arm and foot, extending your right arm to the ceiling, gazing straight ahead. Now bring your right leg alongside your left. Stable back. Inhale, begin to turn your head, gazing up at your hand. Concentrate. Inhale, release, exhale, back to plank pose. Come down to your knees, swing your feet to the side, and lie down on your back with your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Join your hands behind your head, widen your shoulder blades, and bring your elbows to the floor. Press your head ever so slightly against your hands. Don't overdo it. You don't want to compress your neck or have your chin jut up. Imagine for a moment lines of movement running from your side ribs, down, crossing at your navel, and anchoring deep in the inner hips. Pinning both your sit bones and lower back to the floor. Keeping your upper body in its fixed position, head in hands, shoulder blades and elbows wide, head pressed gently back. Inhale, lift the chest to pull your upper body off the floor. Exhale, pull your navel to your spine, and as though someone is pulling your side ribs, rise a little higher. Release, coming all the way to the floor, and relax for a moment. Again, head in hands, shoulder blades and elbows wide. Feel as though strings are attached to your side ribs. Inhale, chest rises, pulling you off the floor. Exhale, side ribs pull you up, navel pressing into the backbone. Don't use your arms. Can you pull one more set of ribs off the floor using your side ribs? Down you come to rest. Now turn onto your side and sit up. Place your feet on the floor about hip-width apart in front of you and hold the backs of your knees. Lengthen your spine from the pelvic floor to the crown of the head. Move your front hips away from your navel to pull your lower back toward the front body. Shifting your weight back as little as possible, take your feet off the floor. Rolling your front hip bones down to the floor, raise your feet to the level of your knees. Pushing your navel towards your legs. A surge of energy like a laser from the pelvic floor to the heart. Inhale, straighten your knees as much as you can. Exhale, push the navel towards the legs. If you lose this core lift, bend your knees again slightly. Now breathe in and slowly let go of your knees. Exhale, extend your arms straight forward, palms face each other. One good breath. Breathe in, chest open and lifting. Breathe out, navel pushing towards the legs. Bend your knees, feet to the floor. Join your hands behind your head, elbows wide, and gently round your back. Navel hugging the backbone. Heart open, elbows wide. Slowly lower yourself, breath by breath. Breathe in, you pause. Breathe out, your navel pushes you a little lower until your shoulders are as close to knee level as possible. From that position, inhale, raise your feet to knee level. Exhale, straighten your feet to eye level. Steady breathing, one strong breath. Inhale, feet to the floor. Exhale, navel to legs. Release your arms and swing your feet to the side, coming up to a simple squat. Place your feet hip-width apart. Arms between your legs, palms down. Come up onto the balls of your toes, hips resting on the heels if possible. Bring your arms between your legs, palms down on the floor. Now breathe in, pulling your inner thighs up to the side ribs and your knees to your shoulders. Breathe out, suck your navel into your backbone, rounding your back and raising your hips to knee level. Once again, inhale, pulling your inner thighs to your side ribs and knees to shoulders. Exhale, suck your navel to your spine, rounding your back. Hips at knee level, no higher. Come down to rest. Knees on the floor. Or even child pose. Let's do that again. Come up onto the balls of your toes, arms between your legs, palms down. Breathe in, pull your inner thighs to your ribs, knees to shoulders. Stare at the floor. Breathe out, suck your navel to your backbone, rounding your back and raising your hips to the level of the knees, no higher. Breathe in, inner thighs up, raise your arms to shoulder height, extending them forward. Breathe out, suck the navel into your backbone, rounding your back. Release, knees to the floor or child pose. Onto your toes again, arms between your legs. Drop your shoulders, bringing one upper arm and then the other under your upper shins. Place your hands mat-width apart, elbows no wider than your hands, and press your arms into the shins to lift your chest and shoulders up again. Don't lean over, and again, breathe in, pull your inner thighs to your side ribs. Breathe out, suck your navel to your spine, rounding your back and raising your hips to knee level. Don't lean over. Keep your chest lifting, gaze forward. Breathe in, push off from your feet and push your elbows forward, scooping your chest up, bringing it forward. Exhale, navel to backbone. Breathe in, straightening your elbows. They're over your fingers now as your navel sucks into your back. Now pull your feet up into your hips. You're in Bakasana, crane pose. Elbows straight, chest forward and up, steady breathing. Breathe in, bend your elbows, feet back on the floor. Rest on your knees and come to child pose.